Hello you, I'm Dan Morfitt and this is your daily rundown on Channel 7. Now, Loz has said his piece tonight, so Drew, it's time for your something to say.
Hello you.
Hello you.
Well, you know, there's so much going on in the world right now, obviously in the political arena. Wars everywhere, all kinds of terrorist threats and stuff, but there's another issue that tends, like your issue doesn't get spoken about much, and that's goldfish. Now,
are we back to your cakes?
We might be. Now, well, the inspiration behind the cakes. About maybe a couple months ago, there was a news story about a woman whose goldfish had a tumour. On its, like the tumour was as big as the goldfish, and rather than just do what we'd all do, flush it down the toilet or something, she went miles. She drove miles for a specialist fish physician or something.
A what?
A fish physician.
Thank you.
And he removed it, and the fish lived to swim another day or whatever. But it cost her a lot of money in transport, and it cost her a lot of money to have the operation done. And I just thought, wow, that is just taking ownership of a pet, a creature. I mean, how many people would actually have done that for a fish? And then about 2 months later, I was at the Ordsall Hall Fair, and there was a sort of a hook the duck with a pole event. Mm. Now, Stevie Wonder could have done it. I mean, the hook was huge, the duck, I mean, it was just, anybody could have done it. And I won a goldfish. And I didn't think anything about it. Oh, it's goldfish in a little bag. I was swinging it around, and I left it in a pub that afternoon to go back for it. And I just didn't think anything about it. I thought, well, the goldfish, you know, obviously she's a showbiz fish, she's from the fairground. Mm-hmm. But I thought, you know, I've saved her from a life of degradation, or, you know, hanging out with bad mackerel at the back of the waltzers, that kind of thing. But
I want that on a t-shirt, by the way. Bad mackerel.
It's a great name for a band, isn't it? Yeah. Bad mackerel.
Bad mackerel. Yeah, I'd go to that gig.
And I thought, well, yes, fairground fish, it's not going to last. So I kept her in a mixing bowl for a few days. There's no point. There's no point buying a tank and wasting money on a tank. It's not going to kick the bucket in a couple of days. In fact, the very mixing bowl I made my award-winning cakes in, I didn't tell them that at the time. I mean, I cleaned it out first with a bit of Cif, obviously, but. So that actually probably got some real fish skills in that fish cake. But and then like a week passed, she was still going strong, so I buy the tank. And then she's still happy. I thought, I'll get a few ornaments. And a week later, some trees, living plants that you put in that apparently provide oxygen, and they feed off it. And you know, I've put her name down for a good school now, and you know, her backdrop, you know, that face mask of Andy Murray that I wore one evening in here that night. Well, I put that at the back of the tank as a backdrop, because a fish has to have a dream, and he's a double Wimbledon champion, something to aspire to. So it spiraled out of control, and now I'm thinking, absolutely, I'd get on the back of my bike and pedal to the nearest physician if poor old Mable, as I've now named her.
You've fallen in love with Mable.
Well, I think it's a two-part thing. On the one part, it makes you realise the kind of dull life I've been leading lately, and on the other side, it is that responsibility of having a living thing, whatever it may or may not be, under your care. I've spent more than that fish this past couple of months than I've spent on myself. It's nonsense, but we are very much a nation of pet lovers to like the nth degree. You know, there was something on YouTube today. It was a cat had fallen out, hundreds of stories or something, and surprisingly, it didn't land on all fours, because normally a cat will always land on all fours. You can fling a cat off anything, it will land on all fours. I don't recommend you do it, but or they do that thing where they just sort of like stretch so their legs hit the bottom. And I mean, the vet wanted to put it down, but this woman she took it away, and she just looked after it, and then the film kept going like a day later, 2 days later, because I think its whole body was in trauma. And within 9 days, it was up and walking and healthy and fit as a fiddle again. And it's sort of like, because someone just took the responsibility and the ownership of it. And I just sort of like, it's weird to find, I mean, I am a pet person, I'm desperate to get a dog, but it's just not a practical thing to get. But I didn't think I would be hooked on a fish. And it's sort of surprising what that does to a person.
Mable has taken you to inspirational heights of bronze medal winning cake making.
Well, she was the inspiration behind my award-winning cake, but the other thing is she does eat an awful lot of stuff. She's on her third tree now. And I've had this recurring dream that I'll go through in the morning. It'll be like a fish version of the Little Shop of Horrors. She'll just grown into this massive great thing one morning.
Come on, Audrey 2.
Feed me. Yeah. You know. I think there's a Dr. Zeus story or something to do with that as well. Someone told me afterwards. So it's a strange thing, but yeah, what we do for our pets is extraordinary, and far more than we would do for other human beings. And there's always these Jeremy Kyle-like stories that, if the dog was there and my husband was there, and there was one truck, and I could only save one, and the husband's a goner. I've got a friend who works for the RSPCA, and she's obsessed with animals to the point of just, it's craziness. And her husband knows that if it was the choice between her cat and him in one truck, he's they're lowering the lid now, because she's just obsessed with her pets. And we are obsessed with pets, just to a strange level. And I don't quite understand why, when we can be so awful to each other. The human being seems to be second on the sort of the pecking order now. I don't know. I mean, have you got pets?
No, I've never had pets actually, and I don't know enough. I have also ridden horses. I have done that, and it is extraordinary, because also they have these real personalities.
I don't think they'll be able to get on Mabel's back.
Yeah.
She's not that big yet.
No,
a couple more trees and she'll be up there.
Exactly, but you get really drawn into them as kind of as beings. I mean, I think that's it. I think that's one of the things that you kind of see, because social media is full of people with them. And
all
their
you
cats.
get on YouTube and Facebook are pictures of animals doing something ridiculous. I mean, is it ITV2? One of these other channels has got like pets do the funniest things.
Oh, I think that's a Channel 5 job.
Pets know how to juggle, and I don't know, pets running for president. I mean, there's all kinds of strange things that make whole series out of it now.
There's dogs in America that are mayors of towns.
And
they're probably doing quite a better job as well.
One of the things that I like is the train stations that have got cats, because Todmorden got a train station cat, and that's, I mean, it's kind of gloriously aloof. Of course, it's it's much grander than anybody else, But it's just there in the waiting room, which is also where you go in to get your ticket. There's the little place for it to sit and just sort of stretch itself out on the platform, and that's actually quite nice. And I think that's one of the things that it sort of brings actually some kind of other kind of life in. And I think life can feel very sort of just box-like otherwise, and also train stations are classic like that. It's there you are, you're waiting for your thing, waiting to sit down with Jeremy Corbyn, but it's like, it's like, but they're at least
something sterile and clinical and boring.
Yes, but they're
make it more homely.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's also where a lot of it comes from. It's that also it's a really innocent relationship. It's because it's not.
I suppose I worry that I've got fishes.
Fish.
Oh, they
see what I did there.
They do say that.
Hashtag fishes.
Yes.
They say that you domesticate a dog, a cat domesticates you. What has Mable done to you? What are your fishes?
I'm an award-winning baker now.
Bronze.
Yeah.
Bronze still. I was on the podium.
Yeah, exactly. No fourth place.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just really weird, because I was brought up with dogs. Just desperate to get a dog, and I wish the things were different that I would be able to. But you can't have a dog in a flat. It's not fair, and it's not healthy for the animal. But oh God, for the first sort of 30 years of my life, we had dogs. We had two dogs. One was about 14 when she died, and I was like 15, so they lasted a long, long time. And I go around to people's houses now who've got dogs, not to see them, but not to see the people, to see the dogs, and because you sort of have to get some sort of surrogacy thing going on. But I'd have loads of pets. I'd be like the Angelina Jolie of the dog world. I mean, Madonna can have kids left, right, and centre, and the Jolie and all that. So I'd probably be the same, but probably with dogs.
You'd have a whole husky run, but not necessarily huskies.
It'd be great, wouldn't it? Imagine. I see you more as a sort of like a tortoise lover.
I'd love a tortoise. Well, we normally have Andrew Grantham from Animals Intuition on here, and he brings like skinks and snakes.
I was in one night with some of those were incredible. The things that bury under the sand.
Yeah,
and stuff,
and I'm tempted now by owning some cockroaches, because they're cute little animals, and you just don't. I was scared somethingless by him bringing a spider in, but the spider's lovely, and it's. It's something like
nicer than
said,
some of the guests you've had on.
Yeah, but it's something you care for, and
I think it might be that. I think maybe if you've been if you've been single for a while, having something to look after is quite a therapeutic thing. But and actually, it was easier transporting her in the tank than it was transporting those cakes in the taxi to the bake-off on the Sunday.
You didn't take the fish as well to the cake-off?
Not this time round, but I think that she will be up for personal appearances at some point. Yeah. But
Just don't take her in a cat box, because all the water will come out.
Fair enough. I'll work on it.
Yeah, I think it is that sort of unconditional love thing, really, isn't it? It's because it's like people, they always want something, don't they? Yeah, it's that word. It's like, but it's also, but I mean, obviously there are sort of needs. There are, that Mable needs the trees clearly.
Well, she needs to also last for at least another 2 months to give me back the money I've spent on the tank.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's been a waste of money.
But what are these trees though? What's it?
It's living plants because they give us off natural oxygen. So
And Mabel eats them.
and she eats them. Yeah, she's on her third tree now.
Should Mabel be eating these trees? Or
Apparently so. Yes. So who knew there was such a world of fish interest out there? I went to one of those pet swim places and I got this incredibly long, tedious lecture from the woman behind the counter, and all I went in for was a little thing for her to swim under. But yeah, so you had to apparently eat everything. And
I love the fact that you even did a David Cameron with Mabel as well and left her in a pub.
I did. Yes.
And
In a Marks
now,
and Spencer's mini bite strawberry shortcake box.
and now she's the love of your life, by the sounds of it.
Well, no, I'd like to hope there's more to come. I'd like to think it's not just me and a fish.
Yeah.
But one never knows.
I've never seen someone so beautifully animated over something that big for 12 minutes.
Well, I don't know. Are you sure?
Yes,
And
moving
talk
swiftly
to your
away
wife
from
about
that.
that one.
And on that, we'll leave it. And don't forget, if you've got your something to say, get in touch with the show at The Daily Rundown on Twitter. That's squiggle The Daily Rundown. Or you can email us dailyrundown@thatstv.com. See you in about 3 minutes' time for some of the more, let's call them strange stories of the day.
Stranger than that.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
This is The Daily Rundown on Channel 7.